Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, hope you're all doing alright out there. So recently I made a video about manual handling, and in that video someone left a comment. I couldn't tell if it was tongue-in-cheek, saying, you know, it's such a basic thing, tell someone how to park a motorcycle, or if they actually genuinely meant do a video about where you do and don't park motorcycles. And I thought about it as the latter version, and actually I think it's really quite helpful, because when you get a bike for the first time, even if you've been driving a car, you probably won't understand how you are supposed to park motorcycles and where you are and aren't allowed. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk about some of the universal truths, and then I'm also going to talk about some of the sort of more you're going to have to feel out the area and see what your local council's like, etc, etc. So I'd also like people who watch this video to sort of comment as to how things are in your area, if there's some like, no, if you did that here you get a parking ticket, or no, that's okay here, you know what I'm saying. So, for organised pay and display car parks such as this one, which is council owned, and generally private ones too, you will see it says, down the bottom here, hold on, I'm going to actually, don't park in the yellow bay, this is one thing you don't do. If you come up and look at the sign, you'll see motorcycles are free. Now normally, in that scenario, that means you need to find a designated motorcycles parking bay, which I don't know if there's one in here, so let's have a quick look. If there isn't, you can use a normal bay, but in my experience, in all of these places, they will have a designated motorcycle bay that will just have MC written on it somewhere. Very often you will find cars parked in it. But it would also normally say when there is a motorcycle, like used motorcycle bays, but I actually don't see one in here. So my interpretation of this one is you could just use it as a motorcycle and park in any normal bay. Other paying displays, if you do that, they may give you a ticket, because if it says use the motorcycle bays provided and you don't, you're taking away a paying slot, so they will charge you. Now, when it comes to normal everyday roads, like these ones, there is a way that you would park your motorcycle here. Now, obviously, I wouldn't park it here or here or here or here, because it would narrow the thing. So if I wanted to park on this road, I'd probably wait till somewhere about here. And the way that you're supposed to do this is basically bring the back wheel into the curb a little bit, and the reason you do that is if you're on a hill, you do it sort of facing up the hill, it'll roll into the hill instead of rolling back down the hill if something happened. So, like this. See, back wheel is just touching on there. Keeping the front end, you probably want to bring the front end in more than that actually, but you can see what I mean. That's the way you're supposed to do it on this sort of road. No double yellows, so you're all good. So when it comes to pay and display car parks, I have never really seen one that actually charges bikes, because there's no way of sticking the ticket on the bike and it not blowing off. So yeah, everywhere basically is free for motorcycles, in my area anyway. I live in Hampshire. All the multi-stories, including privately owned ones, all say motorcycle parking free, around the same place on the sign as it says disabled parking is free. I've even done a video on Gun Wharf, which is a shopping centre in Portsmouth, and it had the most dedicated motorcycle parking I've ever seen. Literally had our own lanes, motorcycle wipes, lockers, bike locks, all sorts of stuff, and it was great. Unfortunately, they haven't really kept it up much, because as lockers are broken, they haven't fixed them. As the chain locks have gone wrong, they haven't done stuff to those. But there is still plenty of motorcycle parking. You can go in easily, and the way you do that is you go around the barrier, and cars get really annoyed with you as if you've done something wrong. You're like, no, there's a gap there for a reason for bikes. And on the way out, it's just got its own dedicated lane. Don't park your bike within 10 metres of a junction. I think that's a rule. Don't put your bike in a place that's going to narrow the road. Someone might knock it over, so you probably don't want to do that anyway. I don't tend to park my bike. My God, this road is in bits. I don't tend to park my bike on the road. I will try and get off the main road in a cul-de-sac or something if I'm going to leave it. Though, then you have to keep into mind theft. You should park your bike in a very conspicuous place that hopefully is covered by cameras, etc. Down in Portsmouth again, they've got parking spots for motorcycles around Commercial Road. They've got one that is between two buildings round a corner and is much more dedicated to motorcycles, and I don't like it because, as I say, it's round a corner, hidden down one end of the high street. I park, and this is where I'm going to move into it's done around here and it's accepted, but it can't use it as a hard and fast rule. At the other end of the Commercial Road, as it's called, there is an area just of pavement where people have parked their bikes, and there's push bike parking there, parked their motorcycles there for years and years and years. Technically, you're not supposed to, but the council apparently are completely okay with it. I mean, there's no signage to say this is motorcycle parking, and there's nothing to say it's not. But I do think if you left your bike there in a place that really blocked it off or caused problems to them, or got in front of the, the main gates down on the high street that they might need to get ambulances down and things like that, that's where I think they might find an issue. But generally, they don't. What are you doing? How wide do you think your car is? This is quite a good example. You see this area here. Legally, you can park your bike there. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It's right in the way. I'd probably go down, well, not down there, that's private parking. Down there you go, and just park it off to a side road. Right, here's a good example of a local thing that's just accepted, but may not be elsewhere. This little area here, if we get a lot of bikes down here, bikes park on top of that little traffic island. Obviously you can't park over the zebra crossing, but they park on there and no one seems to have an issue with it. Same as on that bit there, as long as you're not in the way of the bus stop. And then of course you've got like local shops that might have a big pavement outside them. I regularly park on the one outside one of the shops on the island, as you may have seen in my videos, but I make sure that the bike is out the way of anyone. It's not going to obstruct any wheelchair access or mobility scooter access or any of that sort of stuff, people getting in and out of the store. It's out the way, not causing an obstruction, not causing a visual blockage, it's not causing anyone in trouble. I've been parking like that for the 15 years I've been on the road, and it's absolutely fine. There you go. That's an example outside like a local shop. As you can see, it's away from the road. People can see around it when they pull out, but it's not going to be in anyone's way getting through with any disability stuff or anything like that. So that is how I park here, but I know this is okay because people always do this. Now that's where I say I need your input, because I don't know what your local councils are like. I don't know whether in your area that if you park on a pavement anywhere, even outside of a shop where it isn't in the way, they're going to slap a parking ticket on you or something. I'd also really like this Iceland driver to just back off just a tiny little bit. Just a smidgen. Now with private things like this, as you can see, I don't see anything there that says anything about motorcycles at all. So maybe they would want to charge you. Never tried it there. The reason I've never tried it there is because all of these ones here are council-owned ones, and all of these on the sign will have the exact same sign as you saw on the other place, that it says at the bottom there, motorcycles free and disabled free. And obviously there is no bays to use here, these are just gravel car parks. That right there is another spot that people park bikes on, and it's not an official place, but everyone does it, and there's never been an issue with it. Even when the parking, attendants come down to give people all their tickets, which they do in the summer, I've never heard of anyone getting a motorcycle parking ticket there. As far as I can think, that is most of your situations. If it's a pay and display, look for a bay. It will be free most likely if it says on the sign. If you're on the road, don't be a knob, basically, and park it somewhere that's in someone's way. And if you're going to park it on pavements and stuff, where you're going to need to know the local area and see where other motorcycles park regularly. That's the key. If you see bikes parked there all the time, you're going to be fine. Am I just trying to rhyme all of these answers or something? If you found this video useful, do hit the like button. As I say, if you've got anything to add, if you're an experienced biker and there's always a bit different where I live, then please do put in the comments. And if you'd like to help support this channel, then please consider doing that through Patreon. Links in the description, many benefits, etc., etc. Bye bye.